Yes, back at it again. Good morning, viewers and listeners. We are live, and this is the State of Football Show, your new home for real football talk in the mornings, partnered with Fan Nation, powered by Sports Illustrated via the NFL Draft Bible. I am your host, Big Law, Lawrence Johnson, and this is show number 269. If Virginia is for lovers, then Fridays on the State of Football is for interviews. The energy represented by the number 269 resonates with business, realism, and balance. The 269 energy also resonates with companionship, coexistence, and family and home. It is a tolerant and compassionate energy, efficient and organized. What a beautiful energy, guys. But you are in the State of Football. And like Rick says, back at it again. And we're ready to jump into it. You always want to go to www.si.nfl, www.si.com/NFL/draft. Also, catch us on Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook as well. Also, coming, you got to get that prospect encyclopedia. If you are a person who likes to study your prospects and to learn about players that are coming up and comers, make sure you get our prospect encyclopedia. You can get that online. And I believe we got some hard copies coming as well. And today we have a jam-packed show. We have 3 guests today. And I'm really excited about the people we have today. Today we have Mr. Bo Marchant, who is from college to pro. He's the CEO of that. And he actually was one of Rick's, or maybe Rick's original scout that he trained. It'll be an awesome opportunity to speak to him and see what he's up to nowadays. Also, we have Maria Zatowski coming on. Former news anchor and from Digital Third Coast as well. There's been a lot of buzz flying around with what they're doing right now, and what we will tune in and speak with her and kind of find out what they actually do and what they are putting out there, in the media ether, which is really cool. And also, a friend of mine is going to come on, a guy named Deon Glover, motivational speaker and a coach, and also he's a father of a 5-star athlete that plays for North Carolina, Tony Grimes, out of the Hampton Roads area. But yes, guys, 269, back at it, man. And like I said, the State of Football, NFL Draft Bible, Sports Illustrated, we're just growing. A lot of things positive happening. We're actually, what are we at? Episode 10, season 2. All right, 269 shows. It just keeps growing. Also, we have the Tailgate Show coming back as well for, I believe that will be season 2 as well. Of course, you guys know that I was the host of last season's Tailgate Show, and Sam and I, Super Pro Sam in the back, super producer in the back. We were talking about that before we got on the air, and I will probably be doing some of that as well. With some of the scouts and Lorenz and some of the prospect prophets. And shout out to my man Rick Saratella, the boss man, getting ready to get on the road, which I am as well. I'm really excited about this entire season coming up. I am a little bit of afraid because of the second variant may shut down, what we have going, but we need to get it in while we can. Currently, I'm not necessarily sure how they're going to start to regulate things. They may give us kind of like a mask mandate before they, before they do. But this is it. We got full capacity stadiums. All right. We're talking about pros. We're talking about college football. Get out there right now before they take it away from us again. Remember how upset we were and how it felt to not have the opportunity to go see live football games. The society needs it. We need it. This is for real football fans. Remember, we are going to educate you and entertain you as always. This is what I can say, guys. Hey, I got to shout out all my people that are in the comments. The chat room, Lorenz, Line Weaver, what's going on? My man, Tom Goodhines in the house as well. Hey, make sure you check out the Hub football camp as well out in San Diego with my man Tom Goodhines. He puts that on with Don Yee. All you athletes out there that and you agents and you teams that think you need an opportunity to get back into the league or get an opportunity to get into the league, make sure you check out the Hub. They're doing great things, giving everybody who deserves it an opportunity to get back in. So make sure you check out the Hub as we are partnered with them as well. And just like I said, NFL Draft Bible is just starting to expand all over. Now, before we get into our guests, and we will have them coming on here pretty soon, how about the games last night? We had some 2 preseason games that I kind of felt were what I expected to see. Of course, me being here in Hampton Roads and growing up here in Hampton Roads, Washington is the football team that I would say that I devote my fandom to. And as Washington played the Patriots, you could really see a team, in the Patriots that I felt really has their quarterback of the future set. I hate to say it. If you watch that game and you watch the difference between Cam Newton and you seen Mac Jones, Mac is absolutely amazing in my opinion. He and I know he was going against some backups, but his processing, his accuracy, it looked the same as if he was at Alabama. He didn't look lost. He didn't hold on to the ball. I think that you're looking at possibly the quarterback that's going to start for the Patriots this season. And I know Cam Newton, people say, oh, man, how is he going to beat out Cam? He is going to beat out Cam, and I think Cam Newton it will wind up being the backup there. And, who knows where he goes after this season from here. But on the other hand, Washington, you got an opportunity to see Fitzmagic. And Fitzmagic was Fitzmagic-like, in the first half. He completed some passes over the middle, looked pretty good. And I kind of felt like it was a, here's some footage right here. Looks like, Fitzmagic looks comfortable in the offense. Hit Terry McLaurin over the middle as well. Of course, the running backs, they ran the ball a little bit more than I thought that they would. Washington did. But what you did see on the defensive end was Chase Young with that incredible sack against Cam Newton. It's probably questionable if it was a fumble or not, but you can see him coming off the edge, the angle that he takes, the bend in his body, and the rip, the grab and rip down that he did on the tackle was absolutely masterful. So I'm excited to see what this team can put together, and I can tell you, I'm excited to see if this team is going to contend and defend their division champions for this coming up year. Also, I didn't get an opportunity to check it out yet. The Pittsburgh Steelers are play the Eagles, and I did see a highlight of a player catching the screen for the Eagles. I can't remember the receiver's name, but he took it to the house off a quick screen from Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts, he's he looked okay, but that they say that that's going to be the weakness for the team, and I'm not sure exactly if that's going to be the weakness for the team, but I think the offense on the receiver end could have some issues from a from that end, and from that perspective, but. This whole weekend, it's kicking off. You're going to have preseason games tomorrow and from here on out. But, guys, we got to just, get ready to go because 2 weeks from here, we got college football coming up. I want to say in about a week and a half, actually. The 2 weeks, we have college football kicking off. NFL is going to be kicking off from here pretty soon. Keep in mind, as far as regular season goes, keep in mind for a lot of these teams, for the NFL teams, that is, there's going to be almost a 2-week break for most of the teams in the NFL just because they got rid of the last preseason game. Remember, there's only 3 preseason games, but there's 17 regular season games. And that's the biggest difference for this year, everybody. And if we can, like I said, get out there, enjoy football, and I can tell you, I'm going to be out there. I've already got my credentials in, my request in. I will be at UVA home games with some of my brands. Shout out to my Seven City Shop Talk Sports guys, and also shout out to my Seven City Shop Talk Sports No Quarter, my ECU guys. I will be out there, and also shout out to my Woo Sports folks as well, and we will be out there at these games in the press box, reporting and giving you guys the information you deserve. But as we go on here, I believe we have our first guest coming up, and we're ready to rock and roll. Looks like we have my man Bo Marchant this morning. How you doing, Bo?
Good morning, my man. How's the day treating you so far?
Hey, man, I'm up. It's early. It's beautiful. I cannot complain, man. Ready to rock and roll.
Hey, every day you wake up, you win. So we're on the winning side today, baby.
That's right, man. Every day is a blessing. Everybody, this is Bo Marchant. He's the CEO of College to Pro. And for what I understand, before I do that, I got to get your measurables. What are your measurables right now?
Oh, geez. I don't know. Maybe 5'5", 150.
Okay. All right.
There's not much to me.
Look, you never know who's watching. Always get your measurables from everybody. So, yeah, but I believe you were like the first, one of the first, or if not the first original scout Rick has trained. Is that true?
I guess you could probably say that. Yeah. Rick's built the NFL Draft Bible from the ground up, and we know what it is today. And I always like to, give him all the love possible. I mean, his help and, just building connections, been able to, help with Winnipeg and, spend time in Winnipeg at training camp. And, it's just fun to kind of get your foot in the door and learn a bit of something because it's a different game. I remember when I first started, I kept Ted Cavaya, the director of player personnel, before I was actually, toying with Winnipeg. I would send him guys like, hey, you need to look at this guy, and he would be a tight end. Finally said, Bo, we don't use tight ends in the CFL. So there's little changes that you kind of got to get used to. And, our agents text you, hey, I got this kid, or, you're like, well, OJ Howard would be great to have, but, we don't use the position in the CFL. So it's a little transition, but nonetheless, it's a great atmosphere up there. And I got so many stories. It's a little bit, obviously it's not the conglomerate of the National Football League, but it's a wholesome league. It's good football. And nonetheless, I'm glad to see they're back. COVID-19 robbed them of a year last year, and Winnipeg is the defending Grey Cup champion. So hopefully they can continue that trend and go back to back in between those years that they missed.
Do you get a ring for that? Do you get like anything?
No, I didn't get. No? I'm still low on the totem pole. I'm kind of like me and the janitor kind of both got our foot in the door, so we're kind of like right there. But it's just the platform. It's allowed me great learning experience, access. Just to help put my, how it is. I mean, everything transitions to something else. I mean, just like with the NFL Draft Bible, working with all those fringe type guys, CFL type players, that's how you build a connection towards the CFL because, the Andrew Lucks, the Jameis Winston, the Baker Mayfields, they're going to go to ESPN. They're going to go to these big programs. But, you start getting the bulk and the meat and potatoes of the draft and the undrafted free agents. That's when the CFL and all this kind of collides. And then you start making relationships and that's, one thing leads to another. But you got to put the work in. But at the end of the day, it's fun just being around the game that we love. And I was listening to you earlier as well. Everybody take care of what they got to do so we can have football all year long. That's
right. We can't lose this again. We might not recover the way we need to recover. We're actually recovering, as far as the game. We don't want to lose anything else. So we want to hear some of those stories that you have, and we'll hear a little bit here coming up. But tell us about yourself and where you're from, Bo.
Based in Youngstown, Ohio. And like I said, I've been doing college to pro for about, I think 12 years. I cover the Steelers. I cover the Pitt Panthers. And then when when the Panthers are not on the road, that's when I'll go and take college notes for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So on a typical non-COVID type season, I'm probably at about 15 college games, and then most of the Steeler games. Anything that's drivable, I'm not going to fly out to the West Coast, but that's usually the thing. And I live in Youngstown, Ohio, so I'm 45 minutes from Kent State. I'm 45 minutes from Akron, which is a big bonus because we know MAC football late in the year. You can basically get a MAC game Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
and then hit a college game Saturday. So it's it's fun. It's just Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania. I'll go up into Buffalo. I'll hit a couple games in Michigan, but it's a hotbed of good football, and like I said, very blessed to do it. And like I said, it's hard to believe. Next week, the Lions. I was in Canton last week for the Hall of Fame enshrinement and all that stuff. A game on Thursday, the enshrinements on Saturday, Sunday. So, that is the signal when you get that credentials approved for the Hall of Fame. For me, that means summer's over and football has begun. Let's roll in this thing.
I'm telling you, I get my emails from my colleges, and they're like, request media, for this season.
Yep.
I'm like, it's time to stop laying around. It's time to get on the road. It's time to go. Time to work, man.
Oh yeah, the leaves are starting to fall from the trees. It's coming, man. Football's here. I mean, I know Niles, Ohio, where my main town. High school football starts next Thursday night, the 19th. So, high school football is a week away here, under a week. Thursday night they'll be getting rolling at Bo Marchionte Stadium. The former coach who passed away, in the plane crash, but that's the stadium's named after him, and this is where he grew up.
Yeah, and this is then we had the 20-year anniversary. You were Sam is saying you were on the first edition of the 20-year anniversary. So wow. Congratulations on that, man. So what is your rapid reaction to the game? Speaking of Philly and Pittsburgh, what was your rapid reaction to the game last night?
Well, covering the Steelers, my observation, they started a little slow. You hope the best with Dwayne Haskins. You're talking about a first-round pick who people were very excited about. There's a lot of debate when he went as low as he did, and he didn't go higher than Daniel Jones. But we saw that things didn't work out in Washington, and I think that stems from. Nobody, it's kind of like being family, you're never going to rat out your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad. I think that kind of coincides with, college institutions and protecting their players. And, I think there was some character things with Dwayne Haskins, and I'm sure you've heard things, not that he's a bad kid, but, you could say, hey, laziness, not the best decisions. But when you look at Dwayne Haskins as a player, just like last night, he threw one pass and it didn't hit the target, but man, his athleticism and the upside, the ceiling, if you will, he has a high ceiling. We all know that. So it's Mason Rudolph's job to lose. I think it's the backup. But, Rudolph and Haskins, you're looking at the heir apparent to that Steelers offense, assuming that this is Roethlisberger's last year. So, I think the main focus for me, I think this whole preseason is who's going to win that number 2 job. And whoever wins that number 2 job, can they become the predecessor of what Ben Roethlisberger, since he was drafted years and years ago. So I think that's what I've been trying to observe the most. And, it's preseason football. I love preseason football. This is reality TV at its finest. Yeah,
yes, sir.
People are like, but these guys are playing possibly the last football of their entire lives from day one preschool, but 5-6 years old, Pop Warner, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, uncles, aunts, bringing these guys to the field so they can do what they love. They've made it this close. You are this close, the precipice of a dream, and it's a sad reality come September when those cuts get down to 53. But that's why I love preseason football, because to me, you really get to see some guys emerge. You mentioned Quez Watkins early in the program, Southern Mississippi. I think 5th or 6th round pick by the Eagles last year. Speedster, and we saw that big play last night, and we're watching him do his thing now. Look at him. He's definitely got jets. I think he would definitely beat me and you in a sprint, even if he had a 10-yard lead. So.
Ain't no doubt about that. I can't run for nothing like I used to. But yeah, man. So you talk about Dwayne Haskins. I definitely think Dwayne Haskins. I know Mason Rudolph has been there, but I think they really, because of Dwayne's age, I think really with him it's just a maturity thing. It's definitely, as long as he can continue on this path that Tomlin has him on. You know, being responsible, being more mature. That's always been the issue with him. And then he works on his feet and his mechanics. You know, the kid can play. The kid can
Right.
play. He has a live arm. You know, and just keep on working with him, getting through his progressions a lot quicker. And you know, I think that he definitely has an opportunity, especially with the advent of you drafting Najee Harris. You become more of a running team. You become
Right.
more of a play action, deep throw team like you used to be, because that's what Pittsburgh was: running the ball, play action, and then down deep, you know, and crossing routes and things like that. That's what I always think of Pittsburgh, you know, when I think about, you know, that team as far as what they were really successful with and where they got, you know, to their glory days doing things like that. So, yeah, you know, that was a good game, and, you know, it's just awesome to see football back. But let's talk about you, man. We talked about you getting into the scouting business. Why? Why did you get into the scouting business?
Well, you know, I think we all want to be closer to the game. You know, I remember my first time behind closed doors at Winnipeg. You know, you're in the general manager's office, and you're not the one covering the team. You're the one part of the team, and I thought that was the thing I took heart the most. And you know, being on the media side of it as well, I learned very quickly that what we perceive or what we think we know is often not the case internally in terms of how teams view things. I mean, I know for us, and I'm sure every team's different, but nonetheless a little bit the same. It's, you know, every day there was practice. You know, after practice, we'd break down film. When we had our board would change. I mean, you know, hey, Bo's listed number 1, Big Law's listed number 2. By the end of the week, Big Law's number 1. Now Bo's number 4. You know, and then, you know, by, you know, week 8 of training camp, you know what? We don't know if we're keeping Bo around. You know, one particular year, there was a player that we knew we were going to cut. We knew we were going to cut this player. Like, it just as a matter of we cutting him today or we cutting him tomorrow. By chance, he arrives late at practice. So it's kind of like it coincides. He misses practice. We were cutting him anyways. A few days later, a high draft pick shows up late for practice. Now we're playing favorites. Now the high draft. But see, but there's so many things, and it really makes you see both sides of, you know, if you're on the outside looking in, you're opening up the local paper. Are we playing favorites? You know, is Big Law getting a pass and they're being hard on Bo? That's where you kind of think. But internally, we were like, listen, we were cutting Bo. We knew Thursday we were cutting Bo. We just didn't do it till Saturday. You know, and he gave us a real good reason. He, you know, so those are little things, and I could share so many other, you know, little johnnies of, you know, that. But I mean, I think that's the part of it, and I think we all want that possibility of, you know, getting hooked up with the team permanently. I've had a couple options, but, you know, it just wasn't the right moment. You know, that's a big step. You know, I got 2 kids. I mean, they're in college now, so it's a little easier, you know, but when everybody's home, you know, if you're going to take a full-time scouting job, I mean, you're going to be on the road quite a bit. So, you know, unless you want to be by yourself, and if you have a wife and kids, I mean, basically you're going to say, you know what, I don't know, 280 plus days, you're going to be on the road. That's quite a bit of time not to see your family.
Like being an assistant coach, you know, in any league.
Yeah.
You know, and if, you know, you want your, you know, wherever level you start off, you're always going to have to keep moving, you know, just to keep moving up, you know, kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's tricky, and like I said, I you know, I see it more and more now as I probably because I get older, they look younger. When I was younger, it probably didn't really you know, occur to me that much, but they did seem older. The scouts that you see in the, you know, if you're doing in the press box, you know, they got the line, you know, here's where the scouts sit. You know, it does seem like a younger generation of kids coming through, and you know, that's part of it. You know, you could be, you know, you're in college, you're part of the programs, you know, you get out, you're young, you want to start a career, and it's a perfect opportunity because you're not tied down. And as you know, I think we all know, the older you get, more things happen, mortgages happen, life happens, you know, so it's, you know, you just can't pull the plug. And like I had a couple opportunities, and it, you know, they you know, it haunts me a little bit, but nonetheless, you know, you can't look back. You just got to move forward and hope another opportunity presents itself.
Absolutely. Now, I want you to give me who's a dark horse player that wound up being a star that you scouted, that you're like, man, this guy right here. Give me one.
All right, I'm going to give you 2. The
Okay.
first one I'm going to give you is the guy that didn't pan out. And I actually want this written on my tombstone, Big Law.
Okay.
I was not a Johnny Manziel guy. I would have never drafted Johnny Manziel. And I think at
Okay.
the end of the day, out of everything I've ever, because there's been enough guys that I've loved that failed, but at least I got Johnny Manziel right in terms of I would have never took him. He never panned out. I think the one guy that I liked a lot that really turned out it might have been Joik Bell from Wayne State, running back a few years
Joy
back.
Bell.
Yeah, just undrafted, and he popped around. I mean, he got. I think the first team. I think he went to the Lions. He was cut. He went to Philly. Then he went from Philly to New Orleans, and then he ended up, being a 1,000-yard rusher for a couple of seasons. So I think that might be the dark horse guy that you're like, wow, I think this kid can play. I think he really has the intangibles. He's a Harlan Hill winner, the equivalent of the Heisman of D2 football. So, I mean, he has the pedigree of being a good football player. It was just imagine, the possibility of him, getting his foot in the door and taking hold of it. But, bouncing around, I remember texting him through that summer and, one city. I mean, I think that summer, within a year, he was between 5 different teams in terms of, you're here in New Orleans for a month and then practice squad here for a month, then you're released. But nonetheless, he was able to, have a good career, carve himself out. I think he played long enough that he has a pension, or he has health care and all those things. And at that point, that's what you want. But I think it definitely has to be George Bell. But I could probably name Eric Cush from Indiana, or Cal, PA, played in the PSAC late. Rontez Miles, another PSAC kid from Cal, played with the Jets. They came out of the same draft. I mean, think of two PSAC kids that basically Montez got drafted. I don't think Cush did. But, Cush just played his last year, and I think Rontez is still with the Jets. I'm not sure. But, I mean, think about this. You're talking about an 8-year career out of 2 guys out of Cal, PA. That's pretty impressive.
That is impressive. Before we get into rapid fire, I got to ask you, what quick advice can you give potential younger scouts coming behind you?
You gotta work. We all like to think we know what we're doing, but ask questions. Don't think you're the smartest one in the room. I mean, admit I always ask questions to scouts, even if I'm at a game and there's one, like I ain't gonna lie, Big Law, like I stink. I cannot evaluate a good like safety or running back. I always blow it. I think I know it, and I mean you do everything you did, but just guys you like in particular, like like I love linemen. I think I do a great job at I can pick out a good lineman, and they usually pan out. But for some reason my deficiency. But you got to work connections. Never shake a hand, exchange numbers. Don't be overbearing. We don't want to do that. You don't want to be the annoying guy. But you don't, because these guys, they're busy and their phones are going off all day. But you just connections, and I think you would know this. You got to be there. Got to be a game, free practices. If you're not seen, you're not heard. And the more you're seen, the more you're heard. The more you peel back those layers, the more people become comfortable with you. Like the Hall of Fame. I love going up there. Canton does a great job. But the final night I was sitting next to Woody Page. We know him from around the Horn, Denver, Cassette, and just the stories alone that he shared about the game of football, that was worth the whole year of watching all the football. I heard every guy that went up to the podium. I probably got 3 awesome stories that I would have never heard, and then just all the in-between stories. So to me, that those are the moments of the fun stuff. Because we get spoiled, we get bored. I'm sure you get it. Your buddies want to go to a game. They want to do all this stuff. Well, then you got to write a report. You got to work. Yeah, it's fun to go to a game. Everybody wants to go to a game, but then you got to write. And
it's work. I let them know. I said, it's work, man. I said, if you come, you got to, with me, you got to work, man. I said, we got to go. I mean, I would not be here hosting this show and also hosting the shows last year if I didn't meet Rick in the press box. They actually said that you were at UVA, and they sat him. I have like a designated spot. And they sat him right next to me. And I looked at this placard and it said NFL Draft Bible. So I just started talking. He'll tell you the story. And he's like, Lawrence wasn't annoying. Rick can get annoyed quick. Lawrence wasn't annoying. So he said, yeah, let's just stay in touch. Next thing you know, we're hosting the show a couple of years later. So, yeah, absolutely. You got to go there. You got to be there, brother.
Yeah, real quick, because I know Neil Stratton. We hosted the show a couple weeks back, and when I first started, we didn't know Neil. We knew of Neil, but we didn't know who, know Neil. And my first Senior Bowl, just like you, they put you in a little media room, and I'm sitting down there by myself. And who walks in? This guy. I don't know who he is, but he's Neil Stratton. I get on my phone. I'm like, dude, Neil Stratton is actually sitting next to me. And Rick's like, get his number. And lo and behold, everything just kind of, it's kind of like a good recipe, Big Law. You just put all the ingredients together, and it comes out. And now it's a big, we call it like, the NFL mafia. The Bill. It's just there, and it's a good thing. And well, this is a great group. You're part of it. And Rick is the ultimate promoter. He is so selfless and seeing everyone else, grow in this business. And again, the state of football has been fantastic. I mean, I try to watch as much as I can when I can, but you know how it is. It's tricky. And then as you know more people, like, sometimes you feel bad. Like, I think Scott Wetzel just Twittered me to do one of his shows. I think tonight, and I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? But then you're just like, you can't watch this and that and all these other shows. It's just, but great content nonetheless.
Absolutely. And speaking of recipes, let's go rapid fire here. What is your favorite home cooked meal, Bo?
My favorite home cooked meal, I guess say my mom's cheese potatoes. Okay. That might sound strange, but I mean, and I don't want to sound disgusting either, but I'll text her I love her. I'll text her they're delicious, and then I'll also text her I can't stand you because I ate like 4 pounds of cheese potatoes. So
okay, beautiful. If you had 100,000 to give to a charity, what charity would it be?
The charity for my kids' college funds.
Oh God. Understood. Okay, if you had to be, or what superhero or supervillain do you identify with the most?
Well, this might be a little strange. I don't know if he's a superhero, but I told my wife I'd be Obi-Wan Kenobi, and she made fun of me. She said, she thought I was talking like wise old Jedi master. But Big Law, if you know me, I love being in the woods. I love being in the mountains. I love going running. I just love being by myself all day in the woods doing my thing. And I can totally just pick up the Obi-Wan vibe, where it's just me in the desert with some Jawas hanging out by myself. Just chilling out. Exactly. So I'm not wise. I'm not the master Jedi. I'm just doing my own thing by myself.
I love it. I love it, man. I love it. I love it, man. Well, this has been awesome, man. You and I are going to have to get up this season if we can. Washington's a team of mine that I love to cover, or I'm a fan of them. Also, UVA. I don't know. Maybe UVA is going to Pitt this year coming up, or vice versa. But maybe we can catch up during that time. Yes, sir.
And I grew up loving Washington too. Washington was my team. I cover the Steelers now, so it kind of changes things. But Riggins, Darryl Green, Alvin Walton, Clint Didier, Rippon, all those guys. And just they were my heart. Gary Clark. Gary Clark needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
And Jacoby too.
Yeah, Jacoby, Brian Mitchell.
Yes,
special teamers, Hall of Fame, baby.
That's it, man. These shout outs or announcements in closing.
Nah, hey, man, I'm glad we connected, and I hope the UAV Pitt thing works out. And Sam, Rick, all you guys, great job. You guys have a safe weekend. And as Big Loss said earlier, do what you got to do to keep things safe so we can get this thing moving and move past it as well.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate that. Everybody, that is Bo Marchant from college, the CEO of College to Pro business, and just a great interview. One of the original acolytes of Rick Saratella here at the NFL Draft Bible Sports Illustrated. We just keep it going, man. Like you said, can't stop, won't stop. And when I'm not going to stop, because we have our next guest coming up, and I am ready, Super Pro Sam, and we're ready to send her in. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, this is Maria Zatowski.
Szatkowski, it's all right. It's a hard one. Maria's perfect.
All right, Maria. She's the outreach manager for Sports Handle. And is it Digital Third Coast?
Yes. That's a company that purveys the research and does it on behalf of Sports Handle.
Being a gentleman, I will not ask you your measurables because I ask everyone their measurables, but being a gentleman, I will not. So how about you just tell us about yourself and where you're from?
Sure. So I'm originally from Detroit and in Chicago now. Moved around for a few years. I was actually I'm a former broadcast journalist, anchor and reporter for some local news stations, and recently kind of made the switch to more of a digital marketing PR side, and here we are now, and happy to be back in Chicago too.
Wow. So you grew up in Michigan? Is that what
I
it
did.
is? What was it like growing up in Michigan? Like Big Blue, right? You're a Big Blue fan, right?
Oh yes.
Oh my goodness.
Die-hard Wolverine fan for sure. My whole family went to Michigan. I strayed a little bit from the pack because Ann Arbor was about 15 minutes from where I grew up, so I wanted to go to college a little further away from home. So I actually went to Loyola University Chicago, but definitely a huge Michigan fan. Looking forward to the season. We'll see if they can beat Ohio State this year is the question. But yeah, it was good. I mean, Michigan's great. Pure Michigan. Can't top the summer.
And I mean, I'm from Hampton Roads, but I can tell you, I have so many friends that are Michigan fans, and they were born here. They were born in Virginia.
Yeah, well,
I mean, enormous.
That the Hail Blue, Amazing Blue, the Big Block M. Some of the things are just iconic about it, and some of the the team dynamic you just can't be replicated elsewhere. So I understand being a fan, even if you're not from there, didn't attend.
Yeah. I mean, just the pageantry and everything about Michigan, and the helmet and all that. It's just awesome to watch on TV. And Michigan always puts out a great product, and also that that stadium is legendary in itself.
Yeah. Love a game in the big house. Excited to finally be able to go back this year. Hopefully, unless things change again. But as of now, hopefully able to go back and attend a game.
One of my bucket list things to do is go to a Michigan game and go to that stadium, the big house, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's right.
It's awesome.
That's right. So in your history there, so you were an anchor, a news anchor.
I was, yes.
Tell me, what was that like, being a news anchor, and and when I think news anchor and I think of you, and I'm thinking, did she have to go through like the movie The Anchorman, where you had like all these jerks and you had a whole bunch of stuff you had to deal with when you're as talented as anybody else in the building, but you had to deal with jerks? What was that like, being a news anchor and the face of a product and a brand on TV?
Sure. Well, it's definitely a little different than what you see in Anchorman. First off, the staff you see for a show like that or a movie like that, it's pretty much, there's now about one or two people doing the amount of work that entire news station used to be able to do. So your responsibilities have grown a lot, especially in the last decade. So people are required to do a lot more. I was the weekend anchor, and I was responsible for everything. So in terms of putting in the content, writing the newscast, anchoring it, editing all the video for the newscast, doing web, video, scrolling my own prompter. I mean, everything except for weather in the, 3-minute sports block in the newscast. So there's definitely a lot of work involved. There's a lot behind the scenes that the general public doesn't realize. Definitely a lot of barriers that you have to cross. Can also be expensive in terms of the makeup and dresses that, or outfits that you have to spend, and things like that. But it was a great experience and I loved it. But I'm also happy to now be in a position where I don't have to work holidays anymore, and I can see my family more than once or twice a year, which were two big motivating factors to kind of switch careers.
And you don't have to brave tough weather when it's snowing, or you have to get to the.
Oh my gosh!
You had to do that, right?
Oh yeah, no, I actually one time I was so cold I almost passed out on air because I was standing outside in the snow for so long doing the live hits and the live reports. And it's pretty awful, that part, for sure. You're telling people stay inside, the weather's horrible, and here you are standing on the side of the road and standing outside and doing exactly what you're telling people not to do.
Right.
So definitely not having to brave the elements anymore is a huge plus. I can watch the snow from the comfort of my apartment. I don't even have to worry about getting all the snow gear on and freezing, or getting wet, drenched in pouring rain, or driving around and trying to find fallen trees for storm damage and things like that. So yeah, don't miss that at all. The weather coverage for sure.
Was there a budget? Like you said, it's expensive to dress yourself. I mean, I'm professional world too, so got to buy suits and everything. Did they give you like a budget for that?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Some stations,
you guys dress every day.
Every day, yeah, and you had to, it was a lot of money just to kind of be prepared for the job. Some stations have a stipend for certain roles. It really depends on where you're working. I was never fortunate enough to have a stipend or have any of that. Some people do, but I do believe it's becoming even more rare that stations are kind of removing some of those perks or some of that money. Just
yeah, it's almost like you can't wear the same clothes. You have every day. You gotta have something.
Yeah, especially as a woman, you cannot I'd have to have a mental checklist of okay, when was the last time I wore this dress? Was it last weekend or earlier this week when I was reporting? And otherwise you get emails from viewers. You really do.
Right.
Why are you wearing the same thing? Don't you do laundry or, things like that, even though it's a week or two apart, people notice. So yeah, that too wasn't the best, or the viewer comments, and everyone's don't read the comments on Facebook, which is a great mentality to have if you're in any sort of news atmosphere.
Well, that's all something I always wanted, a question. I said, man, they always have to wear something new all the time.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Digital Third Coast. You put an article out, or you put some information out that became a huge article all over the place.
Yeah.
Talking about the drinking, and I saw this. And I was fascinated at how many people and how at stadiums drink per team. So how did you guys come up with this? What is the concept? Talk to us about what you got going on here.
Sure. So we did a similar survey or similar study a few months ago about booziest MLB fans. And so now, we're going into football season. We kind of, shifted gears to talk about obviously NFL fans, especially with the season kicking off here pretty soon. And so, earlier this year, at the end of June, we surveyed just over 2,000 people that are self-reported NFL fans, all over the age of 21 from across the country, and asked them a series of questions basically about their drinking habits and football games or attending football games. And the results are kind of what you see. We took into account the average amount of drinks, the average spend. We also did look at the average price for the cheapest beer basically at each stadium too, to kind of compare stadium costs of beer or drinks. And so these are the results. We also looked at biggest pre-gamers, the biggest lightweights, what fans of which team are maybe the most likely to not even make it to the game from pre-gaming too much.
Right.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think, in some respects it's not so surprising. And then in others it's oh, okay. Maybe people, maybe these fans are thinking that they're drinking more than these other teams, when in reality they're really not.
Are there any fun facts that you have not released that you can tell us today that people may be fascinated with?
Sure. So one stat actually that we didn't that didn't make it into this publication, but we also kind of analyzed which team is, which fans of teams are more likely to, and I'm just looking at the data on my screen here, the team that's more likely to drink more when the team is playing poorly. So they're losing, which team is all right, let's time to drink a little more. And the top 5 teams for that were the Arizona Cardinals, the Vikings, the Bills, the Panthers, and the Raiders.
Totally random, because it's not the same list. It's nowhere near the regular list. Wow. Yeah,
so it really depends on, I guess, how the team is playing in terms of how much you're drinking or how much you're willing to spend. And, I'm a born and raised, and I still am true to my Detroit Lions. And so notoriously, we don't do very well. And so we were about 20th on that list to drink more when we were playing poorly, which, now that we're just used to playing poorly, but I have hopes for this year and this season. So maybe that number won't be so low.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Did you do, or have you thought about doing wings?
We have. So, a lot of it too is working with Sports Handle's our client that, we're kind of conducting this research with or on behalf of. And so they're the ones that kind of decide as well, which area or which topic they kind of want to steer us toward. So, maybe in the future, we got a couple campaigns coming up with them that might be one of the ones that we look at, something that we analyze. I don't know that every stadium necessarily sells wings. So if we're looking at, how much that you're eating at a game or in person versus at home, on your couch. That could be a little more difficult to gather some of that data, but definitely a topic that we will consider.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to figure that out, especially with the wing shortage. Hopefully, we can
Yes.
get some numbers before the
Before it's
shortage.
all thighs, right? Thigh stop, I think, is the new thing for wing stop.
That's right. That's right. So, let me ask you this: who is the most influential person other than your parents to you?
Ooh, great question. I would have to say my grandma. She actually she's a World War II bride, and she immigrated
Wow.
from Italy
Okay.
when she was 16. My grandpa was an American soldier, and
Mm.
basically, long story short, she was one of 12 brothers and sisters to come to America at age 16. Didn't speak a word of English, and my grandpa was significantly older as an American, and they built this beautiful life here, and she's still, I grew up with very Italian culture, very Italian lifestyle, and some of the struggles that she went through, as a younger woman, are just incredibly inspiring. So I'd have to say her.
Absolutely, very inspiring. What are some of the visions for Digital Third Coast moving forward? I know we have the polling, and we get these awesome numbers. Fascinating part about it. But what are some other things you guys have from a visionary standpoint moving forward?
Sure. Well, we conduct a bunch of different types of studies for a variety of different clients, including we actually just did a study on looking at kind of like the birth rates in America. So some are a little more serious, while some are obviously a little bit more fun, like this study. We do a variety of things in surveys. Sometimes we combine surveys and do Google trend analysis, or we'll do a Google search trend analysis and kind of look at the data that way. We also, I know the census just came out, so we're starting to talk about how we can use some of this this new census data into future campaigns and studies. It's really great that we're able to be creative and kind of, for some of these topics, just be fun, and it's interesting, it's different, but it's also, data-backed journalism, which I, as a journalist or former journalist, I really appreciate. It's not just our opinions on, here's what we think are the top 5 booziest NFL fans. No, we're doing the work. We're, analyzing the data, and it's, from certified survey takers and things like that. So it's really interesting to see, especially when you look at this data across the country, some of these studies, what the results are.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys, man, you guys are on to something. Because that's stuff that information, data. Obviously, data is everything nowadays, and you guys are really compiling a ton of great data. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys put out next when we're talking about sports franchises. Are you thinking about the NBA next, doing them, or have you done them already?
We have not done them yet. So, we have the NBA. We also have the NHL. I know we just put out a study on ranking NHL mascots.
You got to sign me up. I'm ready to work. I got some ideas.
Great. Oh, hey, we'll take them. That sounds great. Absolutely. So we have a bunch of fun things coming up, too, in the world of sports. And so it'll be fun to kind of see what people's reactions are to that. I know one reaction to this study specifically, Green Bay Packers fans were not pleased about their ranking, or thinking that they should have been a little higher than 15th, and, maybe a little bit more in a pre-gaming sense. But like you said, the data back, it's sorry, like I don't come up with those things. Maybe you guys need to drink a little more beer. And,
I'll just step your game up.
Step up your game. I don't know what to tell you.
That's right.
Put down the cheese and pick up the beer.
That's right. You go up the list. So, you ready for rapid fire, Maria?
Sure.
All right. What are some hidden talents no one knows about you?
I played the drums. I was a section leader of the drum line in high school. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So no one really knows about that. You
Okay.
don't really think of me as a drummer, but it's been a few years. But yeah, I grew up playing the drums. I speak, or I've studied several languages. It's been a few years also, but I minored in 2 different languages in college. Hidden talents. I'm not very talented. Other than
Come on now.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are just fun facts, I guess.
Absolutely. What is your favorite home cooked meal?
Definitely my grandma's homemade pasta and sauce. Yes.
Okay.
Really anything my grandma makes, because she makes it from scratch. So with the Italian, it's wonderful.
Red gravy or white?
Not a big gravy fan. Well, do you mean sauce? Because we don't.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't call it sauce. That's a little bit more Sicilian. Red. Yeah,
Red,
it's
okay,
definitely the meatball, tomato-based sauce. Yes.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Best advice ever given to you?
Be yourself and enjoy your life. Life is way too short to be unhappy. It's kind of why I took a deep look at my career path and what I was doing and was able to make some changes. And I've been happy ever since. I think people, sometimes get into a rut or get stuck into something, but if you need to make a change, don't be afraid of the change. And travel. That's my big advice too. Travel if you can. Absolutely. Expose yourself to other cultures.
What's left on your bucket list?
A lot of travel for me. Absolutely.
Okay.
A lot of travel for me. A lot of places I want to go. I'd like to travel around our own country as well. See the Grand Canyon, some big landmarks like that, but also internationally, there's a lot of countries I still would like to travel to.
I'm on that same boat with you when it comes to that. Best or which superhero or supervillain do you identify with the most?
Probably Captain America.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a little bit of a rule follower. He works out a little bit more than I do, but yeah, I like his uniform. He's just a good old, probably, girl next door. It's probably a little bit more what I am, but I love all those Marvel superheroes. I'm also a huge nerd. I guess that's another fun fact. I'm super nerdy, so
Same
people
here.
People don't really look at me and assume I know that or know a lot of things like that, but yeah.
All right, very cool. Any shout outs or announcements in closing?
No, just shout out to my team at Digital Third Coast and everyone that helped put this study and this campaign forward. Really happy with how well it's doing, and it's super fun to talk about. And yeah, shout out to Go Lions. Let's have a great season.
Right.
Crossed.
Awesome.
See how it goes.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on, and I will look for my NBA and my NHL rankings.
All right, yeah.
From you guys.
When they come out, I'll send them to you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Maria.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yes, that is Maria Zatowski from the Digital Third Coast, outreach manager for Sports Handle, and just interesting stuff from her and her company. And I can tell you, there's more on the way, and I definitely want to hear and see what they have coming up next. And of course, if we're ready, Super Pro Sam, I'm ready for my next guest. Hey, everybody. This is my friend, my buddy, coach, motivational speaker. This is Deon Glover in the house. How you doing today, coach?
What's going on, Law? How you doing?
Hey, man, I can't complain. I'm just rocking and rolling here, NFL Draft Bible. Little fun fact, everybody. Deon and I are close friends. We've been friends for quite some time.
Yes.
We've coached players, college-bound players, helped them get in the league. There's just a ton that we could chop it up about. But he is here visiting us on the NFL Draft Bible. And we may wind up bringing you back on. He may be a host, somewhat of a guest host every now and then, when it comes to it. He's also... If you guys can't tell, he has on all this UNC gear. He's also, shameless plug for himself. And his son,
that, right?
his son is a 5-star athlete. Came out of Hampton Roads, Virginia. Plays started cornerback for University of North Carolina. Tony Grimes, the #1 cornerback a year ago. And we're going to talk about Tony in a little bit, and we're going to talk about the quarterback that came out early and how that was not anything new for you guys, because Tony did that actually last year.
Exactly.
But we're going to get into that. So right now, Deon, what are your measurables right now?
My measurables?
Yes. What are your measurables? Everybody gets the question.
Okay. Well, right now, as you know, Law, I got a ferry operation.
That's right.
In Norfolk, Virginia. That I run a pedestrian ferry service right now, and I'm also doing some recruiting with Game Day Academy, Game Day Sports, Game Day Recruits, and I'm handling all my son's NIL stuff. You know what I'm saying? TG20, enterprises. I do that, and currently right now I'm 6'2", You know what I'm saying? 250 pounds.
Okay.
Same muscle.
Yeah.
I want to say this too, man. I was 307, man, and I dropped about 50 pounds, 60 pounds.
Awesome, brother.
So I'm eating right. I'm feeling good, trying to look good, trying to keep up with my wife.
yeah, absolutely, man. Good job, Deon.
Okay.
And being, I mean, you're New York, right? From New York.
Yeah, I'm from New York.
Yeah. So tell us about you, where you're from, your family.
Okay.
Growing up in New York.
Okay.
About that.
Well, I'm born and raised in New York. My entire life. I didn't come to Virginia until I was about 21 years old. I played football at Erasmus Hall High School, which is we won a couple of state championships back when I was there. Graduated in '88. Played football. I had a dream to go on to college. I was an incredible athlete myself. I played corner. I played safety. Was an incredible athlete, but sometimes you get distracted, man, and you get off track. And I moved. My mother moved down to Virginia Beach. I came down here with her, kind of fell in love with the area and said I wanted to make this my home. So when I came down here, I just made it my home. Got on the water, started a business, and things started going good. Had kids, doing the family thing. And got into football, man. Start coaching. I used to coach. Used to have a 9-team rec league called the Campostella Titans, and a lot of those players that played for me at the time, ended up going on to play at other places like Virginia Tech, James Madison, UVA, guys like that. And I watched those guys, from the age of 5 years old and all the way up through. And that's when we met, during the rec ball time when we had all those young guys, you know what I'm saying, at the time in the embryonic stages, man. So, just had those teams, watch my sons grow through the process. Once they got in high school, I started coaching in high school, and the rest is history, man. I just take what I know and apply it, to these young guys, man, and try to help them be successful. That's all.
Yeah, and also let's do this. Let's talk about when you and I really connected with 757 Sports Academy, and that actually, in my opinion, it's legendary. Really,
it is
because of the amount of athletes that we had come out of the academy that went Division I, went all over the country to play. I mean, it was unprecedented. Like, wow, this one academy had at one time it was 15, 16 kids playing Division I and Division 1A football. Like, unreal, and maybe 5 of them on one team. So let's talk about that, man. And like, I coached linebackers. Deon was kind of heading everything up. We had an academy where we had every position coached on the field, and it was kind of like, it was a brother. It still is. It's a brotherhood. And,
that's right.
And we made sure that some of us slipped through the cracks, and some of us made it, but it was just a conglomerate of coaches who wanted to see the best for the young men in the Hampton Roads area. And you go ahead and kind of fill in and tell me what you feel and what you felt about the 757 Academy, and also some of our athletes, that came out of there.
Come on, man. Hey, look, that was a great time, Law. That was a great time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to say this before I get into it, but some of what I'm doing now actually stem from that. You know what I'm saying? Where
yes.
we had a phenomenal program. We were doing things that were cutting edge back then that nobody else was doing. You know what I'm saying? And I can attest to that because you remember the time Troy Vincent came down and he brought his son down.
That's
you know
right.
What I'm saying? And he was so moved by what we were doing because we had athletes from everywhere that would come and train with us at every single position. Yep. And I mean, this is back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And we had the top athletes at every single position. It was unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? You're talking Demetrius Nicholson, Eli Harrow, Quinn Blandon, Taekwon Mizell, Andrew Brown, Cohen Cutler. And we had position coaches for every single position that was training the guys. And the climax of it, we would all come together and do one-on-ones at the end of the day. And it was mind-blowing because we had kids coming from North Carolina, D.C.
Eastern Shore.
Shore, yes.
Carolina, everywhere, man.
And used to train Aaron at the linebackers.
That's right. That's right.
It was funny. We would go to the camps, the Rivals 100, and we would shut the camps down. Literally,
MVPs, unlimited MVPs. All of our players, MVPs.
You see that? Of course. Remember the time we went to the one camp in Richmond, and they actually waited for us to get there
before
because
they started.
We had all the stars.
That's right.
They didn't even start the camp until we got there, you know. But it was a fun time, and all those guys trained. The program benefited them. All those guys transitioned well. I started doing camps last year again, you know, kind of rebirthing what we did back then. And you know what I'm saying, doing it more on a platform now, doing the camp circuit. And it's beautiful when you can pick the phone up and call Taekwon Mizell or Quentin Blandon and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing the camp. Can you come out here and help, you know what I'm saying, or give back to these kids? And without a shadow of a doubt, them guys pop up. You know what I'm saying? No questions asked, never change. They come back and they all in and they tell these guys what they've been through. You know what I'm saying? How it benefited them. It was a phenomenal time. It really was. Man, it was crazy. Lord, remember we nobody even heard of kids getting offers in the 8th grade, but we had kids that had offers in the 8th grade at the time, and we used to have to keep it quiet. Remember?
Right? Yeah.
Because we didn't know. We didn't know. We had phenoms on the tape, so we didn't know. We was like, do we tell somebody?
I really think it was. I know at our height, possibly, we had was it 4 5-star kids?
Yeah,
it was Smoke, Quinn, Andrew. I don't know, but we had 4 5-stars and 3 4-stars.
Yeah, Jamil Kamara.
Yeah.
Ronnie Moore. Corwin
Cutler. It was unreal. It was unreal. How in the world any camp with a 5-star kid would have been happy and blessed to have that? We had 4 5-stars. You know, Demetrius was Trey.
Yeah, Demetrius. Yeah, we had Demetrius.
Trey, Smoke,
Eli
Andrew.
Harold.
There you go. Trey,
That's
Smoke,
right.
Andrew, and Quinn. 5 stars.
All 5 stars.
All 5 stars. Unreal. Shout out to my folks in the chat room. What's going on, Robin? Thank you for tuning in. Out of Buffalo, New York, tuning in. Yep. Thank you for
Buffalo,
tuning in,
New York.
Robin. Yeah, that's where Robin's from.
That's Buffalo, New York. My guy Maurice Linguist is the head coach at the University at Buffalo right now, and I love that guy, man. He's amazing, and he's gonna do amazing things up there. So make sure you support him.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, it was unreal at that time with the amount of athletes coming out, and you know, and of course, it seemed like we took a little bit of a hiatus because everything just started to change, but there's still a need, you know, and let's talk about that, Deon, about your foundation you got going on right now. Tell us about your foundation and what you're trying to focus on to take it to the next level. Again, even though we had great success with all the kids that came out of here.
Yeah, we did. And it was amazing because we didn't charge the kids. Remember that law?
Right.
We didn't
just come work out.
We did all that out of pocket expenses, renting the fields, traveling,
buying equipment.
That's right. We did all that out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? And it was a good thing. And I'm gonna tell y'all because we gonna keep it real. So we kind of got off a little bit because the program started getting offended at what we were doing because they felt like we were showing favor to one school over the other, but that was never the case. We never showed favor to one university over the other. You know, kids and parents going to go where they feel comfortable and where they feel loved at. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, everybody wanted to go to UVA. That was just a trend. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a trend now. Everybody wants to go to.
Look at the plug.
That's just the trend. But you know, it kind of faded, but it was a major need. It was impactful. It was insightful. And now we're revisiting it. We're doing it the right way right now. We still train. We provide training. That's the original conception right there. But you know, we had a rebranding, and I actually sent that to Sam. We had a rebranding. But, and it's Game Day Recruits now. But we got to rebrand it. So what we do is we host camps. You know, we train kids. We host camps. We get all the national analysts to our camps from 24/7 Sports, from Rivals. We get a tremendous amount of support from ESPN, from 3-Step Sports. We bring major camps in. I was able to bring major camps in here last year. I got with Brian Stump from the Regional Showcase, who runs the opening, and got him to bring the Regional Showcase out here to Virginia Beach in the Elite 11. It was a major success. We're just doing some things to help these kids, you know, because when COVID hit, it kind of put the brakes on a lot of stuff, and it hurt the high school athletes in a major way, and they weren't able to get seen. So we had to do something to facilitate that, to help increase the chances of these kids getting seen and being able to earn a scholarship. You know what I'm saying? So we did that, and it was phenomenal, man. So now I'm sorry. Go ahead, Law.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm listening.
So now what we're doing is, you know, I created a platform called Game Day Recruits, and what we do, it's a three engine program. You know, we have a online platform, you know, with a 3 payment scale. It's sort of like NCSA, but you know, only better. You know, only better. We provide actual scholarships for the kids. We don't just help you get scholarships, but we actually provide scholarships, you know, for PWOs, preferred walk-ons, for those kids who cannot afford, who meet our criteria, but they can't afford to pay for their first year. So we'll pay for their first year, help get them in school, and give them an honest chance to earn a scholarship. So, you know, and we provide profiles for the colleges to be able to search and find kids, you know what I'm saying, that fit what they're doing at their program. And we run the camp series, and it's cutting edge. We got some things that's different, totally different from what everybody else is doing. And I just think it's going to do wonders. You know, right now I already help a lot of kids getting scholarships and getting seen. I don't charge anybody anything for what I've ever done. So now I think we're at the junction where we have to reach some more kids. And we do have to start kind of charging. It's a nominal fee. It's $19.99 a month. It's not something that you have to go out there and spend $2,500 a year to try for somebody to look at your profile. But it's $19.99 a month, you know, and it's beneficial. Provides a lot of benefits for you. Your profile will provide a lot of benefits. We'll do a lot of work, you know, for these athletes, you know, because contrary to what people think, Lord, you know, and I know there's you know, the recruiting platforms are only ranking about 6,000 kids, between 4,000 kids a year. That's what they're doing. But what people don't know is it's over 1 million football players every single year in high school sports. Over 1 million. So look at the percentages and look at how many people are not being seen. Look at how many people are falling through the cracks. That's what we do.
Those are our kids.
That's right.
Those are our kids.
We prevent you. We help you not to fall through the cracks. You know what I'm saying? We put you on Front Street, just like everybody else have an opportunity. We help you, give you an opportunity.
Yep, Sam is saying, she's saying, where can they find you?
Where can they find you?
Yeah,
you know. And so we got another portion that we do. It's called Parent University, where we educate the parents on real life recruiting. What not the generic, what you read on social media, but what really actually happens during recruiting. And as you know, I've been through it, you know, with Aaron and with so many other kids, and now I'm going through with Tony.
Well, I was going to say, let's talk about your children now, and we'll finish up with Tony. So let's start with your children and your talented family all the way through and through, brother. So let's go ahead and start from the oldest all the way down to the baby.
Well, the oldest boys, you know, they played, you know, and just like me, they got distracted, man. Sure. And so I thought that Devontae was gonna make it. I thought that DeAndre was gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of got distracted. Then Aaron jumped on, and he that's my guy, man. He was amazing, man.
Yeah.
He just kept secret in college and high school sports. And you know, he did it. He ended up going to Liberty, you know, took the long route, went prep school for a year. Listen, And if there's any recruits listening to this right now, grades are everything. I don't care what nobody tells you. You know what I'm saying? Strive for the best always. Don't never do the minimum. You know, and that's something that he did. He did enough just to kind of get by. And he had to go to prep school, and thank God he ended up at Liberty and started as a freshman. Did an amazing job. He was an amazing athlete. And, you know, got a girl pregnant, man. And you know, and there you go. You know, I tried to kind of, you know, help him, say, I take care of my grandson. You just stay in school. But sometimes, you know, our kids, man, their vision.
Yeah, man.
They can't see it all. But he's doing well. He's doing well now.
Good.
So, you know, in the background the whole time it's the twins. You know,
man.
It's Tony and you remember when they was out there at the sports academy?
Babies, man. It was babies, man.
They were babies coming out there. You know what I'm saying? Trying to do one-on-ones and.
You know, and the crazy thing is, that for those who don't understand, like Tony Grimes, his son, and his other twin Tito. Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
You know, they were just guys out there trying to keep up with the big kids, and they just did and you can see they had talent, but you never knew what they were going to be when they finished growing. And I can tell you, Tony wound up being the top cornerback in the nation, and committing to UNC, had offers all over the place, and just great to see another young man, especially a friend of a young man, come out of Hampton Roads, making everybody proud. Played at Princess Anne High School there locally, and it's starting. You know, had a tough time, and also not to be forgotten, there's an incredible article on the front page of ESPN about Tony. Okay, so do not forget to go check his article out on ESPN. It's right there on the front, Deon. Tell them about that, man.
There it goes right there.
There it is.
David Hale put this together, came down for a few days and met with him, and you know, he interviewed a few people. Man, he's amazing at what he does. Is just mind blowing, man. The story just kind of it explains the essence of who he is. You know what I'm saying? And this with Tony didn't just start out the blue, or just start when he got his 5-star rating, or when school started offering him. His first offer was in the 8th grade. It didn't start then. It started back at the 757 Sports Academy. Right. You know what I'm saying? When he was out there competing against the high schoolers, getting knocked down and taking reps and getting back up and going back out there. It started back then.
Kids with scholarships right now, offers he practiced with them, so it's only customary that he be where he is right now.
That's right. And what people didn't realize, when Quinn Blandon and Andrew Brown was doing pre-draft training, he trained with them.
Wow.
He literally trained with them during pre-draft training.
Wow.
He trained with them. So you know, this stuff started back then. All we're doing right now is seeing the manifestation of the work that he's put in, and that he is going to continue to put in. You know, and then he had a chance to see the mistakes that his brothers made. You know, and them getting off track, and seeing how it affected me and his mom, wife, my honey bunny Nikki. He saw how the work and the time that we put in and the investment, and then he saw how it affected us when they didn't make it. So he's like, man, listen, listen, number one, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna follow suit, and I'm gonna do everything, you know, I'm gonna just do it the right way, and I'm gonna make my parents proud. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be true to myself. And he stuck to it.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man.
He absolutely stuck to it.
We're having a lot of fun here, Deon, man. Look, we got to get into rapid fire. You ready for these rapid fire questions, brother?
Shoot.
All right. If you had $100K to give to a charity, what charity would it be?
Oh, wow. Right quick. Game day recruits.
Okay.
Game day recruits. We're giving out scholarships. So, you know, if somebody want to help support that mission, trust me, it works.
That's right. Favorite home cooked meal?
Oh, spaghetti.
Okay.
My wife make a banger.
Okay, spaghetti. What's on your bucket list right now?
Skydiving.
One thing. Skydiving. Okay.
I want to skydive. I want to take me up high as I can go and let me jump.
Let you jump. What characteristic are you known for the most?
Giving.
Giving.
Yeah, I'm a giver. I love to give, man. Ain't nothing like blessing somebody else.
Absolutely right. What if you had to identify with a favorite superhero or supervillain? Who would it be?
Iron Man, baby.
Iron Man.
The brains and let's get it.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go.
Right.
Tony Stark.
You know it, man. Are there any other? I mean, we're having a great time, man. Are there any other shout outs or announcements you'd like to make? And also, are there any handles you want to put out there so people can get to you, brother?
Well, just for real, you know me, man. I want to shout out UNC, you know what I'm saying, University of North Carolina. I got to because they really took my son in and did him right. Coach Mac Brown, Coach Jay Bateman, Coach Joey Bly, phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Phenomenal, the realest coaches in the game. I absolutely love them. Got to shout them out. I want to shout out my wife, you know what I'm saying, who's just a tremendous support in what we're doing. You know, I want to shout out my colleagues with Game Day Recruits, you know, James Robinson and Demetrius Washington. Them guys are incredibly awesome. I want to shout out those who support the vision and support the mission, you know, what we're doing.
You have that website for your...
Well, Tony's website is TG20 Enterprises.
TG20, and you have the game day.
Yeah, GameDayRecruits.com. You know
okay.
what? Let me break that down right quick for you, man. I don't want to give y'all the wrong information.
but it's just amazing how much things have grown, and you know the successes of all the young men that have come out of the program, and as many times as you know we've seen, you know, we've always just been there to help. We just want them to get to the next level. You know, man. Just keep rocking.
You're amazing, man, and I appreciate what you're doing. No, seriously, I mean, Law, you've been consistent, and I mean, consistent and true to the game. You know, and I mean, you touched a lot of lives. You know what I'm saying? And you've been a part of this with developing these kids in this area, and people don't see the full spectrum of what's been going on and who's been involved. And you're one of those pillars in the community, man. You know what I'm saying? And it all comes together. You know, and it doesn't stop here, but you know, we got work to do. You know, and I know you're gonna be a big part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, everybody, we just having a good time in here. We could talk for another hour or two, but we got to go ahead and get off this show here. And Deon, you and I will catch up a little bit later. But everybody, great time. That's Tom Goodhines right there, Deon. If you see, he's the guy helps run the hub with Don Yee out in San Diego, the one I was telling you about. Thank you for tuning in, Don, and all my folks in the chat room. This is just amazing. Great show today. And appreciate you coming on, Deon.
Hey, I appreciate you, Law. And
yes,
shout out to Sam. You know, you guys are amazing. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming, man. All right, brother. Hey, guys, that was an incredible show. Great show, of course. I guess it helps when one of the guests or a friend of the host. But there's a lot going on. He's doing a lot of positive things. He's just kind of carrying on what we kind of started, and it's just a continuation of just helping young athletes, college-bound athletes, get into college, scholarships, and also, just taking them and showing them another side of life, you know, and that's kind of what we were focused on doing then, and it's still going. But that is show number 269 in the books, everybody. I love you guys for tuning in. It's been great fun, but tune in next Monday for the State of Football. My man Rick Sertella will be back on the mic. And, of course, coming to you soon as well, the Tailgate Show, the NFL Draft Bible Tailgate Show, college football starting up. That will be coming soon. But for everything else, I am Big Law going out, and you will see me again next week. Thank you, guys. This is Big Law signing out. This has been the NFL Draft Bible, the State of Football on Sports Illustrated. Thank you.